Hey everybody, welcome to New Victory Gardening. I'm Michael. I'm actually working from home today, and some things happened. I'm sorry it's been a little while since I made a video, but I've been in the middle of harvest, and so the first thing I'd like to do is just wish everybody a good harvest. I hope you're having a great harvest this season. We're here in Northern California, and last month was the hottest month recorded in our state. So the month of July was the hottest July ever recorded. And I set some new records for water use, and I set a new record for electricity use. Since I've been living here in Sacramento, I grew up in the valley here in California, but I've lived in Sacramento about 12 years now, or 14 years now, something like that. And so kind of dealing with that. Also had a possum come, 2 baby possums come and join me for a while because I had so much extra fruit, specifically peaches. And so they came and enjoyed the peaches while I was trying to harvest them as well. And so been kind of dealing with some things. And so in between work today, I thought I'd do a video on just diagnosing some plant issues. And so if you remember in the past, we looked at why are some of the limbs and branches on my apple tree dying? Why are there some like burls or some growths on the base of the base stems, I guess, near the trunk of the apple tree? And I also had a pest from my grapevines. So a little insect that's sitting on and chewing the leaves of my grapevines, all issues. And so for this episode, we'll go online. Let's go online and see if we can't find and diagnose some problems. I'm kind of nearing the end of harvest. And after you've harvested and enjoyed, you can start thinking about next year's garden. And in so doing, maybe like identify some of the problems that you've been having. So that way you can begin to create your plan for how you're going to deal with those things next season, right? They don't often go away unless you manage them very actively. And, let me say thank you to the commenters and comments that I've received. We've received some comments on the channel about varieties to plant, about places that are similar. So we're zone 9 here, and recently it's been very nice. It's been almost fall-like. And so today it's windy and it's only in the 80s. After sustaining a month above 108, it's crazy that the weather is now cooler and actually pretty nice. It's actually been very nice days. I'm expecting some heat to come back personally, but today that's what the temperature's like. So great to harvest in. We got some recommendations for products to help you manage and to protect your plants in the next season. And so my last video on this apple tree here, if you read the comments, you may be able to get some good suggestions. Once again, apple tree is my favorite tree, and so that's why I want to kind of diagnose on it first, but we'll also look at grapes, which are probably my second favorite perennial. And I do recommend, if at all possible, you have a little space to plant a perennial, be it blackberries, be it grapes, or a tree if you have enough room, just so you can get consistent production and really help you, with resiliency, and to just have some good fruit to eat and to give away during the harvest season. So, okay. Is there anything else I need to say? I don't think so. Why don't we get to how I would diagnose? A basis for this is actually seated on the webpage at newvictorygardening.com. And I'm going to link to common sites. So in my area, it's the UC, or University of California system. And you can use that as a basis for zone 9 and zone 10, because that's the majority of the state, zone 9 and zone 10. But there are extensions in Minnesota, there are extensions in Mississippi, and there are extensions in Florida and New Jersey, and just find your associated college type extension, and I'm sure they'll have something similar, and we can use mine kind of as a basis just to get you started. So with that, why don't we hop online and we'll see what we can do. Why don't we start off in general terms? Okay, let's do a search. I'm having problem. Get on the internet, my plant's dying, help, see what happens. And as you know, and as you can see here, there's just a whole lot of information. Even artificial intelligence will tell you how to diagnose your plant problems. And while it's a good answer, it may not be the best answer for you and your specific need in your specific place. So you search again, plant disease identification, and once again, Google does its job and just gives you whatever it finds in its search. And I'm not sure how it prioritizes or does this. But once again, yes, it's a lot of information, but it may not be the information that you need or that you are going to use in your application. And so this kind of gets to the root of what I'm going to demonstrate here in just a second, of finding information for yourself and your local area. All right, so remember the pictures. I call them pictures because I took them, but the things that you see in the garden. So the couple of examples, one was a little insect and the other was just parts of the plant not working well. And so why don't we go and try, and so here's newvictorygardening.com. Check it out. There is a gardening info and links at the top here. And so with the gardening info and links, there's tagged some websites here. And so it's the University of California Integrated Pest Management Program. And they also have a diagnostic tool, and then the Sacramento County Master Gardeners. I'd recommend these for anyone in zone 9 or 10. And it could be a good place to start if you're in other zones, but usually the other state affiliated universities have their own programs. So if you're in Wisconsin or say Mississippi, there will be programs associated with either their extension service or just directly linked to a university in the state. And so that's where you'll be going to get really specific information for your area. And so for me, why don't we go to the University of California Integrated Pest Management Program. I'll click and go there. And, there's just so much information. It's easy to be information overload, but go through the website. Sometimes you want to select agricultural pests, but a lot of times they made the site for home, garden, turf, and landscape. And then of course there's environmental pests and exotics and invasives. So just a lot of information here. But for our purposes, we'll go to the home, garden, turf, and landscape pest tab. And so it covers a wide variety as you come down the list here. So where we want to go are, not everywhere. Where we want to go are pests in gardens and landscapes. And so you can choose the type of plant, or you can also just look at some common pests. And so also as you come down the website, you'll see they have more information at the very bottom. And they also talk about using pesticides and some alternatives to using pesticides if you're interested in that. And so for us, over here they have quick links as well. And so you'll see the quick links here and the plant problem diagnostic tool. And so we're going to go there in just a second, but let's go just a little bit further. We're looking at a fruit tree, and we're looking at an apple tree. And so you see apples, they start to give you just a lot of information about pests and how to manage them. And then they give you a lot of tips here, as you can see, right? So there's tips for fertilizing, tips for pruning and sanitation, site selection, tips for harvesting, tips for planting, just anything you might want, and a good source, right? There's a lot of information out there. It doesn't mean you want to always go and take it. And so if worse comes to worse and you didn't know anything more, you could just go down this list and just look to see if you recognize a name, or just get basic information about, each of these things. But, that's very time consuming. And so, and you may not get the best information. And so that's why they created the plant problem diagnostic tool. So if we come back and we go to the home, garden, turf, and landscape pests, and then we come over to quick links again, right there is the plant problem diagnostic tool. And so why don't we go there? And so this allows you to use the information that you have to narrow down the list some. And so I'm going to select the plant types here, and I'm going to go see fruit trees, nuts, berries, and grapevines. So we'll do the apple tree. Add to my list, and we'll come over to the left here, and we'll select plant names. And so we want to add apples to the list, and then come back to the left side and select plant parts. And so we're going to select stems, and we'll select twigs and branches, and I think that is it for right now. So we'll go with those two. We'll see the damage. So twigs, branches discolored or flagging. Dieback and decay here we'll add. You can literally just walk down the list and find what you've been seeing. Sap oozing, not that, no spots or anything. Wilted, shriveled, collapsed, or girdled, right? So yes, we'll select that. And so you add that, as you add to the list, it's giving you options. That's what the tool does. And so we'll just go with those three, and you can see again on the left here, there's view results, and it says 6 results that we can view. All right, let's view them. And so on the left hand side here, it gives you the 6 results, and then the main part of the screen gives you some information, and it also gives you some pointers. And so you can go down the list and oops, you can see some examples. Sappy bark is here. We don't have that. Looks like a couple of the pages aren't working today. You have to bear with it. You say you click twice, and then sometimes it'll work on the second try. So anyway, out of this list, I would probably tag, because of this branch dieback here with root rot. So certain branches are dying and the others are healthy, is one of our characteristics. And so I may begin to look around the tree and see if this matches. And down at the bottom, there's solutions. Talks about sanitation, it talks about pesticides, it talks about avoiding over irrigation, right, and improving drainage to help. So mulch may help with that, and just the site selection may help you with that. And so here's a bit of information to get you started, and the plant problem diagnostic tool is helpful in that respect, just basically because you can go by the pictures and the things that you see. Okay, let's go back to a new plant problem diagnostic tool. Okay, so let's do the little bug that we saw very briefly on the grapes, on the leaves of the grapevines. And so, oh no, I forgot what to do. What do I do? You can always come back to the New Victory Gardening webpage. You see it here. And go back again to gardening info and links here on this top part. And come back down and we can look at the University of California Integrated Pest Management Program again, or you can just go straight to the plant problem diagnostic tool, which is what we're going to do here. You click on the link, and so we get there, and it gives you a bit of information again. And so let's add fruit trees, nuts, berries, and grapevines, because they were on a grapevine, right? Come over to the left side here and look at the plant. And so we'll select grapes, adding grapes to the list. We'll come to the plant parts tab here. And this time we says, well, they're on the leaves. I didn't really see them anywhere else, but it seems like they're on and eating the leaves. So we'll go with that. Click down to damage. And let's say leaves, discolored. Let's add that one. And I don't think they're ragged. They're not clean. They're specks, flecks, dots, and stippled. Looks good to me. Spots, blotches, lesions. Let's try that. There's no webbing or nests. They're not chalky. They're not sticky or sooty. So, okay, so there's 18 results you can see on this left-hand side. So let's view the results. And so there's down the side here from root rot or fungus all the way to white flies. And so now you have a place to start, I guess, if you had no idea what this might be. And so you could go down through each one and you can look at bunch rots. No, that's the boitress. The noble fungus. No, not a dieback. It's an herbicide injury. You say, no, it's not an herbicide injury because I see insects there, right? And that brings us down to leafhoppers. So you finally make it down to leafhoppers and you can look that there are many different kinds and they're all over. They feed on everything, it seems, like mint, rosemary, sage, all the agricultural products. And so there's the leaves here that, okay, not mine are much worse than that, but that's a start for what we've been seeing. And then we took a picture of one, which, okay, very small. This is better though, right? This picture here, cast skins, and the leaf was covered with little marks like this. And then there was a bit of a similarity in how it looked, right, to this, even though it was a different color. Okay, maybe. So I'll come back up and we'll look at the identification, which is the bleach specks are obvious. But they give you like some other alternatives. So lace bugs, plant bugs, spider mites, thrips, which could commonly do. And so you can go down this line just as a process of elimination. And also the size. So they're long compared with their width, wedge shaped and commonly less than 1/4 inch long. So that is just a couple millimeters long, which matches. We had maybe 2 to 3 millimeter long. So very small. A glassy wing sharpshooter is a little bigger, so we know it's probably not that. I don't have a microscope, so I can't look for spines on the legs. But okay, so they exist in 3 life stages, which is eggs, nymphs, and adult. And so we saw them, you know, shedding as they grew, and lots of debris on the leaves. And so once again, we look at the type of damage, and you'll see they cause pale specks, and the leaves can also turn yellow and then brown, and then curl and die, right? And that's exactly what's happening on our plants, slowly but surely. But at the same time, there's also just maybe you would want to look at lace bugs, plant bugs, spider mites, and thrips. So I would look at thrips here, another common pest. And I have a picture, and since I have a picture, I know that what I am looking like does not look like that. It's not what I'm looking at. And so fortunately, it leads me to believe, just by the picture that we have, that what we're looking at is a leaf hopper, which looks more like this and more like this. And so doing a little more research and clicking, you can get to a leaf hopper specific page. And so this bug looks a lot more like the picture that we took. And this is a much more in-depth description of the grape leaf hopper, which is 3 millimeters long, right? Light pale yellow with markings on it. And so I can actually now use this detail to examine the type of damage and also to examine some controls. So they also give you options for control. So biological, cultural, and organic. And just a wealth of information to help get you started, and as much detail, I guess, as you want on this site. And so there's a progression as you go through. There's websites like this for other states as well, but this is the example in my area. And so we'll keep it with that. You know, it helps me get a plan, because now that harvest is complete, or getting towards being complete, I have a little time to reflect on what the year was like. And for me, managing this pest is going to be a big part of my plan in the next year. Congratulations if you made it this far. I know this subject can get a little bit dry or tedious, but just necessary to help build your resiliency, your ability to produce a crop from year to year. It's just a fact of life. So anyway, I'll end the video here. Thank you for watching. God bless, good luck, and I will talk to you on the next video.